Hello and welcome back to Chasing the Target. Another great day of Test cricket. A beautiful contest between bat and ball. England finished the day at 278 4-4. Captain Ben Stokes with the Harry Brook at the crease right now. A tremendous day of cricket once again. The game is kind of in the balance. I say this as well because the important news is Nathan Lyon went out injured and he's pulled his calf, and that could. Be a big issue for Australia. Like not only in this match but in the series, it does take time for calves to heal. We don't know the latest update right now. Probably get a better. Understanding after the press conference and then tomorrow morning when they assess him. But that is a huge blow. But nonetheless, Australia did pick up 4 wickets. We started at the day. It was Steve Smith getting to his 100. What a batsman he is! The best Test batsman in the modern era, without a doubt for me. He scores hundreds everywhere at the home of cricket. There's nothing different for him. He scored another 100 over there. Brilliant batting. He batted well with Pat Cummins. A good partnership. Alex Haley got out early, but Smith continued to bat on and got some support from his captain. I think England did fairly well, though, to get them all out for 416. It could have been 450 on the cards that the way we were looking at it yesterday. So England did bowl well. Broad got the wicket of Kerry Per Anderson, Ake Starku Nikala, and then yes, there was a partnership. That catch from Duckett of George Tung's bowling was a really good catch to dismiss Steve Smith. बहुत अच्छा catch था वो. And उसके बाद it was England की बारी कि भाई आके batting करो. Everyone was gonna question कौन सा approach है. Will they get all out quickly? What kind of cricket will they play? It was positive once again. Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett, I thought they put on a really good partnership of 91. Both batted really well, finding the gaps, finding the boundaries. Duckett was much more confident this time around. It wasn't just hitting everything. He did use his defense a bit more. Zach Crawley, it took him a few deliveries, but he got going too. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that partnership. Ibrahim Singh, Todd Murphy to play last 3 tests for Australia. So is it confirmed that Nathan Lyon is out of the series? That is breaking news. If that is so, I don't have confirmation of that, but Ibrahim, you can let me know about that scene. But yes, it was a very good partnership, opening partnership, and then Duckett continued to bat. He put on a partnership with Pope, and then Australia diverted to the short ball plan, and that completely changed the game. I think there was not too much in the pitch. The England batsmen had it easy, but that short ball, it kept tempting England. They put the boundaries, the fielders on the boundary. Yeah, you could say it was a bit negative. It was a bit dull field placement, but Pat Cummins he always tries to find ways to win games and take wickets, and it was a really good strategy that paid off for Australia. They picked up big wickets. Pope को निकाले. उसके बाद जो रूट was out in that same over जो Cameron Green का था, लेकिन it was a no ball, a bit of drama over there. Eventually Root did fall, a bit of a controversial catch from Steve Smith, but Joe Root did fall to Mitchell Starc, and this is why Stark's in the team. A lot of people questioning him, should he have been in the team instead of bowling and everything, but he's there to take big wickets, even if he's expensive. He got the wicket of Joe Root and he did his job for the day. It's time for Harry Brook to show his dominance. Also surprised to see Stokes playing too cautiously. 54, lack of form or fear of getting out. I mean, very interesting approach. Look, Harry Brook, again, really good start. He's got to 240s already in the series. This is the third time he's got to 40, I think. And now it's about, Nitesh Bhai says, to convert this into a big 100 and take England as close to Australia's score as possible. As far as Ben Stokes goes, I think it was a smart approach. I know that he's about this baseball and you have to play aggressive and everything, but the situation required him to give support to Harry Brook. If he went hammers and bang, put on like 20 or 15 and got out, and the end of the day at like 300 for 9 or 300 all out, it wouldn't have helped the cause, right? So I think it was playing according to the situation, and that's exactly what Ben Stokes did. You can say he's kind of out of form. He's not fully fit as well. And this is the kind of Stokes innings that I like to see, because even if he takes deliveries, he can catch up the strike rate. He knows that. Everybody knows that. We saw that in Headingley a few years ago. Stokes का यही style है कि भाई थोड़ा सा time लेके फिर मारना शुरू करो, and I'm glad that he's gotten back to this method in the last couple of games, and hopefully he also goes on to score a big score because England still need a big partnership. They need to get as close to 416 or even a bit further if they can. But yeah, if they can get to 400 or 390, it's game on. And already, I think it's been a really good match. We were criticizing England's bowling yesterday, and we saw like today Australia as well. They look lethargic at times, but then they changed things around. They got that short ball thing, and you saw Hazelwood, that ball he got Pope. It was 86 miles per hour, so that extra pace does help. And England do lack that in their bowling, and that could be the difference between the two sides. But having having said that, Nathan Lang not being there is going to be a huge loss for Australia, because you saw that volley ball to Zach Crawley, great delivery, brilliant stumping, and Nathan Lang would have surely played a part if he was bowling. I think in the last session maybe picked up another wicket or two. You never know, right? You would have been tempted to go after him. Travis Head, yes, can bowl, but he's not on that level or that quality. And Australia are in a bit of a pickle now, similar to what England were in the last game when Moeen Ali wasn't there. And you can see when your prime spinner is not there, especially with the sun coming out, game going to day 4, day 5, you do need a spinner in this game. And with Nathan Lyon perhaps not bowling in this match, it could tilt the game in favor of England. There's a big possibility, and that's what I'm saying. I'm just not looking at the score. If you look at the score, I think it's 60-40 in Australia's favor. Lekin, if you look at the dynamics changing after Nathan Lyon not bowling, picking up that injury, then it's kind of a 50-50 game right now, because they will have issues holding one end up. You saw Steve Smith rolling his arm over in the last over. You got Travis Head. Yes, Australia can still pick up wickets, can still get England all out, but can they sustain that in the next innings too? And when Australia do bat, how much do they set England without Nathan Lyon being there? That's a very good question as well. Yesterday, the Australia will hammer England, but what a comeback by England when you feel it's going to be boring and predictable. Test cricket surprises you 100%. I completely agree with the sentiments, and that's why I said you have to wait till the second team bats to fairly assess. I think yesterday, rightly so, we criticized England in terms of the bowling, because even if you see today, it was still a flat pitch, but Australia did try a few different things and did pick up wickets, right? And we didn't see that much from England. Although, it's not like Australia ran through England or anything like that. But I'm just saying in terms of their bowling. But the way England batted today, I think superb. They toned it down a bit. It wasn't like just smash bang everything like that. Yes, they went after the short ball, and that led to the dismissal of Pope, even Joe Root. But overall, they did, balance it out a bit more. If you see Stokes' innings, it was conservative. He made sure, bhai, odd wickets nahi jana hai, aur mere ko end tak khelna hai, and that I felt was responsible, and that was the right decision at the time. Harry Brook looking really good as well. Initially, he tried to take on the short ball too, making room outside that leg stump and trying to hit it over off stump. He did take a few risks here and there, but that first ball as well, Joe Nikela talked straight down the ground, really good straight drive that was. And he's looking good, but it's all about him. Now converting this into a big score, making sure that he stays there, trying to get to 100. Duckett, very unfortunate, man. He would have got his 100 in that last over if Labuschagne didn't hit the stumps and that ricochet didn't happen, because it was clear overthrows and he would have got to his 100. But then on 98, playing that short ball, playing that pull shot, getting trapped at that fielder with the fielder fine leg. David Warner taking the catch. Very unfortunate, but really good innings from him. He was copying a bit of stick, even from me and from a lot of people. Magar unne acha mere hisab se batting kara unne. His defensive technique was pretty good as well, and shot selection to uska acha hi hai Duckett ka, and I just felt he played with more responsibility, and I really enjoyed that in my opinion. I'm just checking this Nathan Lyon news. A Lyon hands Australia major injury scare. I don't know what the situation is. Australia suffered a potentially major injury blow, chasing a ball towards thing. A CS Spoken said Lyon would be further assessed overnight. It is a cruel twist for Lyon, who's playing his 100th consecutive test. Looking further ahead into the series, it would bring Todd Murphy, the 22-year-old off spinner, into the frame when the series reaches Henley. Murphy took 7 wickets. Should he not play any further role in this game, it would leave Australia specialist bowler Darren needing to turn to Travis Head. So we will get confirmation probably tomorrow about Nathan Lyon's status. If he doesn't play, then Todd Murphy will come into the team for the next game. But right now, you can't have that concussion or anything. It's not a concussion, right? So they'll have to bowl with Travis Head and Steve Smith if Mr. Nathan Lyon doesn't come back. Todd Murphy from next match. Yeah, Ibrahim bhai, looks like it. If Nathan Lyon is not fit, then Todd Murphy is going to play. That's what it's looking like right now. Hopefully Nathan Lyon does recover. Bichara, injured ho gaya, and it's a tricky situation to be in for Australia and for Nathan Lyon himself. Unfortunately, you can't do anything in that, but like we saw when a spinner is missing, especially in the last couple of days, it could impact your team. And a bowler like Nathan Lyon, man, he is the difference between the two teams. Man, last game में भी वही बोल रहा था कि भाई इसका जो bowling है की फैक्टर होता, उन्हें 4 विकेट लिया पहले इनिंग में, सेकंड इनिंग में भी कुछ 4 विकेट लिया, यहाँ पे भी उन्हें विकेट ले लिया था उसका Zach Crawley का. तो I think in the second innings he would definitely play a part, but let's see what happens. Not the whole series yet, but he will miss next test. Looking at the discomfort line was in. Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like. He's definitely, I think, going to miss this test. But tomorrow will be there'll be an overnight assessment. Then tomorrow we'll find out exactly what the scene is over there. from Australia's point of view, and that could tilt the game in England's favor. Because look, they still have 6 wickets in hand. There's still Johnny Bairstow to come in to bat, I think, and yes, there's no Moeen Ali, but England's still have showed that they can wag a bit too. So taking that into consideration, England have a good are in the game. They're in the game right now. It's 50-50. It looks like they have to try and get to close to 400. If they get wrapped up for 300, 320, then it could be an issue. They need to minimize that lead as much as possible and then put pressure on Australia, because Australia will be thinking with the bat also. They'll be a man down, I think, and they'll have to put as many runs on the board, because England will come out without having to face Lyon and could put a lot of pressure on the bowlers and fast bowlers. Remember, Nathan Lyon not only is an incredible bowler, but he also gives breaks to the likes of Cummins, Stark, and stuff. He holds one end up, and that being missing. And if it's going to be a long chase, or if it's going to be England batting pretty well, and you need some magic and Lyon not there, it could be a huge issue for Australia. But overall, a really good day of cricket. It was Steve Smith's day, then Ben Duckett's day. I think Ben Duckett batted really well. Unfortunate not to get to 100. And let's see what happens tomorrow. All to play for 100%, and that's why we love Test cricket. Also, I just wanted to mention Oman versus Zimbabwe. That was a great game, Super 6 match. Oman fought really well. I felt chasing 330. But it was Zimbabwe in the end putting up another win, and they're getting closer and closer to that World Cup. Our Zimbabwe, the home crowd again were brilliant. If you just see Sean Williams again, man, century mar diya. Kya incredible form mein hai. He's batting out of his skin. This time he didn't have to captain because Craig Irvine was back. But 142 of 103 balls, man. Incredible batting from him. He's in the form of his life. Sikandar Raza again chipping in 42 of 49, and also picking up a wicket. Tendai Chatara, Angavara, and Musrabani picking up 3 wickets. So the fast bowler is doing a really good job for Zimbabwe. And from Oman's point of view, I think Prajapati, brilliant innings, 103. Mohammad Nadeem fought in the end with 30 of 18. Ayan Khan batted well as well. It was a good effort from Oman. Just a few runs they leaked extra, otherwise they would have had a good chance in this game, and it was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. Will England also brings some spinner from next test? All pace attackers bowling, especially when Anderson Robertson are military medium pacers. I want to see Wood. Man, I really want to see Wood as well. And I think they might have to go with Ryan Ahmed, or because he's the spinner in the squad. I think they will have to go with the spinner, because you won't be able to sustain, I think, 4 fast bowlers unless Joe Root keeps picking up wickets. Then it's different. But I think they'll have to go with the spinner in the next game, especially as the series moves on. Oval mein, Old Trafford mein, spinner ka role mere hisab se hone wala hai. So I think that they might have to go for a spinner in this test match. There are a lot of things to consider. Then overcast bhi tha, so they went with the force bowlers. I think Head and Labuschagne will surprise England batsmen in second innings with the ball. You're saying interesting. That's an interesting take, Ibrahim bhai. I mean, there are no mugs with the ball, of course, but they're not the level of Nathan Lyon, right? But I think I see where you're coming from, because England will try to look to attack them, and that's where wicket taking opportunities could arise, and that could be Australia's way to get back into the game and pick up or win the game. Actually, the only thing with that is, with there's a lot of inconsistency when you're a part-time bowler. There will be loose balls on offer, and England can capitalize on that as well. And England no mugs with the bat either. Devin, thank you so much for joining. This is the first time I'm seeing you. Let me know where you are based, and please do like and subscribe. Though Brooks scored 45 runs, baseball or not, some of the shots he played were quite strange given the context of the game. They were strange. He took a bit of risk. Initially, he was looking to back away and try to hit over covers. Even the short balls, he was backing away. He did look a bit uncomfortable at times, but this is the way he plays. Right now he's got to the start, and hopefully that he manages to convert this. He has to be a bit more responsible. I agree, short selection sometimes could be wayward from him. I felt Ben Stokes played much more responsibly, and I think his influence with Brook at the end, you could see that it did help Brook out, and once Brook settled in, he looked very comfortable. Any idea where the English opener Hamid is? I guess what his name is. Haseeb Hamid. He debuted versus India and showed good composure. I thought he will be the next Amla. But I don't think he's fitting the Bazball formula. That's why he is not there. He was there under Joe Root, and he did decent, I think, against India. But I think with the new formula, new captain management, they're looking at attacking players. They're looking at Zach Crawley, Duckett. I honestly felt that Butler had a good chance in this team, just with the way they're playing, the style that they're playing. Although Butler does play in the middle order in test matches, I thought Ben Stokes will give him a call and say, come open the batting for me in the Ashes. But Hamid is nowhere to be seen right now in terms of the England circuit. But Ibrahim, if you want to add to that, you can also add. But yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow. I think it's all set to be a poised day. I mean, a really good day of cricket tomorrow as well. All to play for. Again, we'll have an update on Lions injury. Australia will have to look to take wickets. Cummins and Hazelwood and Stark will be fresh tomorrow, so that's a positive. Early on in the first hour or two, they need to try to break this partnership and then get into that England tail and make sure that they keep taking wickets and put pressure so that that lead doesn't go out of hand. Hamid last played in Australia during the Ashes. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like a year and a half now, right? And I think he has been axed after that Ashes series, Mr. Hasib Hamid. And honestly, like, I think that can probably have improved a bit. Like, I was thinking, they won't be able to provide as much as they are right now. I think a 90-run partnership was pretty good. Zach Crawley did look confident. Some of the shots were sublime to watch. Duckett as well, man. अच्छा उन्हें खेल लिया, 98 मार दिया. Unfortunately, 100 नहीं मारा, मगर अच्छा खेल रहा था. England were rooting Hasib Ahmed for opening position, but after that India tour flop performances, कहीं नहीं देखा मैं उनको. Yeah, exactly. It's a good point. Uske baad, he did play in the Ashes, but after that, he was done basically. And with this new template and everything, I don't think uska jagah बनने वाला है. अभी तो नहीं बनने वाला है मेरे हिसाब से. Don't be surprised if you see Livingstone back in the test team or something like that. But Hasib Amir is far-fetched right now, just the way they're thinking. And yeah, let me know what you guys also thought about the game, about today's day. If you have any questions or anything like that, I would love to answer them. I'm just checking. Is there anything else that I missed out regarding the game? Yeah, Cameron Green, bro. He bowled so well today, got the extra bounce. Zabardast bowling kara, the way he set up Pope, and then the way he set up Root. Incredible delivery, but that no ball, man. I know it's unfortunate, but damn, that must have hurt. I think he bowled really well. And it's Australia are really lucky to have a player like that who can roll his arm over. It was that good height and had that wicket-taking ability. It would have been a sensational over if it wasn't a no ball. Yes, Root didn't punish them too much, but you gotta keep checking that no ball. And it was funny because England made the similar mistake. I think it was in the first test, in the same thing when the Australia were batting first. Khwaja got out Broad's no ball, and that could be an issue, man. Boss, har match ek banda injure ho raha, and I think ये होते जाएगा because there's going to be less recovery time between games. अब ये match day 5 तक गया तो Sunday खत्म होगा और फिर Thursday को वो है match third test Leeds जाना है, so you have to travel on Monday, go there Tuesday, Wednesday, practice Thursday match. So there's not much recovery time. Lot of cricket going on, and Nathan Lyon getting injured. Man, I was expecting Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood एक में से कोई शायद injure हो सकते हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लिए. Lyon getting injured, I did not see it coming, and it's a huge blow. It's strange 40-year-old Anderson is playing consecutive tests, but spinners are getting injured. It is a bit weird, but like ab injury kuch nahi bol sakte. Ab Anderson is also a really fit guy. Also, he probably has different regimes. He does get injured too, and we don't know. The series is not done yet. Anderson could get injured, right? So let's see what happens. But hopefully everyone stays fit. I just hope Mark Wood nahi ho jana injured. Want him to play the World Cup this year. Yeah, man, he's a sensational bowler. और Mark Wood का अभी इंजरी से उन्हें पूरा फिट नहीं हुआ, इसलिए उसको नहीं खिला रहा था. He would have played this game 100% in my opinion. लेकिन he's still recovering from that injury, and they're taking it slow. I think they do have one eye on the World Cup. Although Ashes is priority for England, with Mark Wood as a bowler, they know that they depend a lot on him, and they still have Jimmy, Broad, Robinson, and stuff in the Test team. But one day team, they really, with Archer not being there, Mark Wood is going to be their main keyhole bowler, and so they have to kind of wrap him in cotton wool. But having said that, if the time arises, if England are behind the 8 ball, or if there's a situation where there's grass on the pitch, he's fit, he's going to play. If it's a fast bouncy wicket, he's going to play. That's what I look at it. But yes, I think they are managing his workload. They are looking at his injury carefully, and they're not trying to rush him in because they do have one eye on the World Cup. At the same time, even in the Test matches, we've seen so many injuries. They don't want that to happen to him either. And it's unfortunate, man. It could sometimes maza kharab kar sakta. Injuries, like last time it didn't happen, even though Moin Ali got injured in mid the game, even more interesting. But Nathan Lyon not being there, in that second innings, doesn't mean that game won't be interesting. But yeah, you want to see a quality spinner like that bowling, especially at Lords. Maza to aa jata tha. Livingston was part of the test team plans before he got injured in Pakistan, and he hasn't played a county match this season. Yeah, he hasn't, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he was in the plan, so like, don't be surprised if he does come back sometime in the future. Maybe not now, but sometimes in the future. In that phase of 20 overs, Aussies have shown how to tame the rampaging English batsmen when they're fleeting and at least temporarily. This is extremely good point, Evan. I think the way they changed their tactics and they both those short deliveries. Yes, it could look like a negative tactic with the fielders at the boundary, but at the end of the day, it was to take a wicket, and that's exactly what happened. And that was allowed because they had pace. Hazel was bowling 86, 87. Stark was bowling close to 90. Cummins is pretty fast as well. So the pace allows them to execute these kind of plans, and that's maybe the difference right now in between the two innings. England didn't have that extra pace to trouble the Australian batsmen. They couldn't employ that short ball tactic as consistently, because when Travis Head came in, that's what they should have done. They should have done exactly what Pat Cummins did, to Duckett and Pope. Employ that short ball the whole time and make sure that you have fielders in catching positions. Even if it's on the boundary, it's still a wicket taking option, right? But England don't have that pace. They don't have that thing. That's where they miss Mark Wood. Yes, Josh Tongue bowled really impressively well, but they need a couple of bowlers who can ramp it up. And Australia executed the plan pretty well on a pitch which is favoring the batsmen. I think the way they changed it up and stifled England a bit, it was really good. And yeah, because it could have easily been 300 for two as well, right? Like, if they didn't employ that tactic and they continue to bowl line in length, kuch nahi ho raha tha. Eid Mubarak, Chirag bhai. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the wishes. Really appreciate it. And Eid Mubarak to you and to everybody watching and everyone celebrating all around the world. Really appreciate it. Absolutely agree. It takes good bowlers to employ such a tactic. It takes good bowlers. It takes good skill and pace as well. Pace is very important in that. You see Hazelwood's speedometer in that over. He was bowling 82, 83, 81, and then that short ball 86. So there's a difference in pace as well that surprises the batsman too and makes them miscue the ball. You can say, why did Duckett play that shot, this and that, but it did catch him by surprise, and that's what extra pace does to you. Thank you, Mr. Devin. Aapko bhi Eid Mubarak to you and to your family as well. Thank you so much for the wishes. But yeah, and I like that. I think that's kept Australia in the game. The reason I say that, like, Australia, like, if you're looking at the scorecard, they have runs on the board. They still have 6 wickets to take, but they can take those. But with Nathan Lyon not being there and everything, that's why I'm still keeping England. Like, that's why I still feel it's like a 50-50 game. And that's why it's going to be a really, really good finish. It's going to be a good finale. Hopefully, we're going to see a cracker. Again, first hour will be crucial tomorrow. If England lose wickets, it could put them under massive pressure. But if they do put up a partnership, if these two guys bat a good hour and a half, then Bairstow to come, then England can get close to that target. If they get to 420, 430, then England are in front, because they do like a chase. They're not shy of chasing, and they do bowl well in the third innings as well, I think. And with Nathan Lyon, I keep mentioning that him not being there, it could be England's game to win. But right now, it's still Australia ahead, if you just look at it on paper, because they do have runs on the board, in my opinion. Pakistan का कुछ tour plan नहीं है क्या boss? Her team busy है except Pakistan. Just hope they come prepared this World Cup. Really looking forward to this World Cup. India, Pakistan, Australia, England, Zimbabwe, and so Pakistan, I think, have a series in Sri Lanka next month in July. But right now, yeah, it's off. I think they haven't played in a pretty long time. कभी कभी समर में उन लोगों का ठंडा रहता है. They're not touring they do tour England a lot, but in the last few years, but I guess that tour is not happening this time around. They were in Netherlands last year as well in the summer. They do have a series coming up against Sri Lanka, so yeah, I'm sure they will prepare. And also with the conditions, look, with Pakistan, we can never predict, right? कुछ भी हो सकता. We didn't expect Netherlands to beat South Africa and Pakistan to qualify for the final of the 2022 World Cup. So कुछ भी हो सकता उन लोगों के साथ. लेकिन the way their team is stacked up, the resources that they have in the bowling department, the batting department, and in these conditions, I rate Pakistan. I think they should be, they're in my top 4 100%, and I think they will be a hard team to beat if they play to potential. अब ऐसा नहीं हो हैदराबाद पहुंच गए, जिम्बाब्वे आके हरा दी फिर से, पर कुछ भी हो सकता, मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा. लेकिन if you just look at the conditions, you look at the way the team is structured, if Shaheen Shah is fully fit, Naseem Shah is fit, Haris Rauf is fit, Babar, Rizwan, Shadab, Chachu, all these guys, Fakhar Zaman, if they're all fit and they have the strongest 11, who knows, man? Pakistan could be a really tough team to beat. And with Nawaz and Shadab in the middle overs, it could be tricky for even teams like England. It could be tricky for teams like Australia and New Zealand too. It's just we need to know what Pakistan turns up, and we'll only find out that when we reach to the World Cup, and every game it could be a different Pakistan. I remember 2019 also, they got smashed by West Indies and it looked like there was no hope. But then they finished fifth. And if some results went in their favor, they could have probably come into the top four. They could have come to the semifinals. They needed India to beat England or New Zealand to beat England, and none of the teams could. And un log out ho gaye. Did you hear BCCI considering to select Dhawan as captain for an India V side that will go to Asian Games in China from mid-September to 8 October? That's news to me. I haven't heard that. Ibrahim Bhai, thanks for that update. Cricket is there in the Asian Games, huh? So that will be interesting. That'll be some fun. Let's see what happens over there. I remember the Commonwealth Games last year when the women's played, the women's team. That was really good. I enjoyed that tournament. So yeah, if Shikhar Dhawan is captain, Bichara, it'll be good too. It'll still be fun to watch. I hope. But mid to October 8th, that means and the World Cup is starting some mid October as well, isn't it? In it, prof. But yeah, like from the World Cup point of view, let me know which games you're looking forward to watching apart from India, Pakistan. If there's any games, I'm looking forward to Pakistan, Afghanistan. Looking forward to England versus India. I think that'll be a fun game. England versus South Africa will be a good game as well. Those names in the Pakistan squad. It all depends on which version of them would turn up. Exactly right. Like that's what we always say. We don't know. They could lose to Zimbabwe, then they can come and beat England. That's how Pakistan play. And they also they are unpredictable, but just to the conditions, the way they're stacked up, I do fancy them. Like Babar in his one will be comfortable batting in these conditions in India. I think it is similar to Pakistan, maybe not as flat, but a bit lower bounce, and with the dew coming in, Pakistan chasing, I do fancy them in quite a few games if they do play to the potential. Mustafa, do you plan also cover football on your channel? Would be great, if not regular, at least big events, matches. Really, I miss Indian football commentary during Nations League. So we do have a football channel called Chasing Green Arrows. That is mostly we cover fantasy Premier League, and right now we're covering the transfer market. Me and Fez are behind the scenes in that. We produce the show. There's a couple of journalists from England, Gianni Batice and Dean Jones, who host the show. So you can subscribe to that. But yeah, in terms of Indian football, I will work on that. I'm not as knowledgeable. Even Saudi football, like I'm a bit more knowledgeable in Saudi football, but I have to work on that too because the Saudi market is going to be crazy. I do watch Saudi League. Indian League, I haven't watched too much. I'll be very honest with you. I never lived in India too. So I do go visit, and I've heard like the atmosphere. I remember Hyderabad won the ISL, I think, in one ISL or whatever it was. They won one of the tournaments, and it was crazy atmosphere. But I'll do my best to try and watch some Indian football as well. World Cup starting October 5th. England versus India, really looking forward to it. The last time it happened in India, it was in Bangalore, World Cup 2011. Zahir Khan bowling that ball to Andrew Strauss. Andrew Strauss scoring a 150, I think. It was a tie match. That was a really, really good game. That's also a good point, Mr. Devin. Yeah, there is too much cricket. No, I'll take it. I'm looking forward to India versus Pakistan, Australia versus England, both in Ahmedabad, and South Africa versus India in Kolkata, the repeat of 2019 World Cup final. England versus New Zealand, the opening game. Yeah, these are all good games, and I think the battles between the Asian teams will be really good as well. I think Bangladesh will come strong, Afghanistan will come out strong, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, like these teams will come out strong, and this might be a World Cup where Asian teams dominate. I'm saying purely on the fact of conditions, but also they are improving. If you look at it, they've got exposure. The way Bangladesh played in Australia, I was impressed by that. The way Afghanistan played in Australia, I was impressed by that. And now they're going to play in more better conditions for them, more suitable conditions for them. And they could cause problems for teams like South Africa. They could cause problems to New Zealand, maybe for Australia and England too. We don't know, right? And I just feel that this could be the series, the World Cup where Asian teams do come out and dominate. If you remember in 2011, it was 3 Asian teams in the semifinals and New Zealand. So we could have a repeat of that. We don't know. And I'm looking forward to Bangladesh as well. I've been impressed with them in the last 6-7 months. I think they've revived a bit. The way they're playing, Mehdi Hassan is turning out to be an outstanding player for them. But overall, Tamim Iqbal, these guys, Apna Litton Das has really evolved as a player as well. They still have Mushfiqur, I think, too, right? But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play. Afghanistan is getting more, experience too. Yes, I think T20 is more suited to them, but still with 50 overs, with their bowling attack in Indian conditions, they would fancy themselves in a few games. India should send a team of almost retired players in Asian Games would be nice for Dhawan. Yeah, it could be. That's a good point because, there's going to be World Cup, so you can't send any full-time players or anything like that. Where do you think South Africa would prefer to face Sri Lanka, Delhi or Dharamshala? I think Dharamshala, in my opinion. because Delhi, from what I've seen, is a slower wicket. It does assist spin a bit more. Dharamshala, there could be a bit of nip and tuck, some movement. Nokia Rabada will fancy themselves against Sri Lanka and Dharamshala. That's just my opinion. And South Africa, man, like I remember, you can tell me more. I think you support them. I know you live there. I don't know who you support, but I know you live there. South Africa, the main thing is. Not joking, bro. I still like their team. I still feel it's a very good team. The batting wise, they have Quinton. They've got what's it called? David Miller is still there. Apna Makram hai. You have potential in what's his name, bro? Deval Brevis in Stubbs. Lot of batting. Apna inhe bhi aa gaya, Riley Russo. So they have a lot of options, and bowling is fantastic. Rabada, Nokia, Shamsi, these guys, I fancy that, man. I'm a Hilal fan. Which club do you support in Saudi, boss? When I was in Saudi, it used to be Hilal and Ahli at the top. Parsoon dekh to Ali in second division league mein hai. You just took the team that I support. All my friends, my whole thing, because I am from Jeddah. I mean, I was born and raised there. So all my friends and everyone I know support Ittihad. That's the main team in Jeddah, and they all support them. Some people support Hilal, but that's more because if you're from Riyadh, you have a connection there. Or even if you just like, because Hilal have a lot of Saudi superstar players. I support Ahli, man, because my uncle supported them. He because my grandparents' house was right next to their stadium, and they lived in that area, like of Jeddah, like close to Ahli. So Ahli is my club, and actually Fez was with me. We went and watched the Kings Cup final 2011, Ittihad versus Ahli. Fez and another of my friends, we were the only people wearing green and white in that section. All my friends were wearing black and yellow, and Ahli won on penalties. So that was a great moment for me. It was a lot of fun. Ajit Agarkar, next selector. Yeah, I saw him coming into that event. That's interesting. Andy, भाई कैसे है भाई? किधर है चिचा? क्या enjoy करे match आज या नहीं? बताओ. Even as a die-hard Indian support, I would fancy Pakistan beating India in Ahmedabad. Pakistan team is talented and they really need that impetus. Yeah, I think the only thing which is going to go against them is, of course, the crowd, the atmosphere. 120, they're going to play in a ridiculous atmosphere. But you do fancy them, like in this situation, and they've taken that mental block of beating India in World Cups. Yes, that was a T20 World Cup, but it was still a World Cup nonetheless, right? I don't know if you're going to make Mocha videos this time around because the 50 over World Cup, but they've broken that deadlock. That mental thing is gone, and it was Babar and his team who've done that. They beat India in a World Cup, with that, and they were very close to beating India again in the next World Cup itself. So you have to respect the opposition. I mean, I follow Pakistan. I'm a huge supporter of India. Since I was born, I support India because of my dad and my family, and I am Indian. But I trust me, I have a lot of Pakistani fans. We banter all the time, make fun of each other. They get sick of me, and it becomes very thing like we keep irritating each other when there's an India-Pakistan game. But somewhere deep down, I do appreciate Pakistan cricket. I do, and I enjoy it as well. I don't show it at times, but yeah, I do enjoy it. South Africa versus New Zealand का final हो जाए तो biggest joker का पता चल जाएगा. इंडिया को भी डाल दो भाई, एंडी भाई, ये उसमें ये tag में, because New Zealand देखो still won a trophy in the last few years. India को थोड़ा time हो गया. So then Sri Lanka have to win the qualifiers tournament for the match to be in Dharamshala. I support South Africa cricket team. Who's your favorite player, Ibrahim bhai? मैच एंजॉय नहीं कर रहा हूँ, इंडिया के मैच का वेट कर रहा हूँ. भाई एंजॉय करो, क्या जबरदस्त क्रिकेट चल रही है भाई. बैट एंड बॉल का कॉन्टेस्ट देखो, कल ऑस्ट्रेलिया हमारी, आज इंग्लैंड हमारी. बॉलिंग भी एट टाइम्स वो शॉर्ट बॉल का जो स्पेल था वो भी बहुत अच्छा था. इट वाज अ गुड गेम टू वॉच, मैन. मिस्टर एंडी, मौका नहीं, काम का पोपट हो गया था पिछली बारी. एग्जैक्टली. Oh, I hate that Mocha thing. So cringe. Fakhar Zaman 100 Ahmedabad calling it right now. Pakistan bowling choke nahi kar dena bas. And Mr. Virat Kohli always fancies a game against Pakistan. He fancies a chase against Pakistan. I think this is going to be Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma's last 50 over World Cup, in my opinion. So we got to enjoy this. It's going to be probably the last time he's taking on Pakistan in a World Cup, in a 50 over World Cup. We got to savor the moment, and I'm sure it's going to be marketed like crazy. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of eyeballs watching that game. There's going to be a lot of people in the stadium, outside the stadium. And it's crazy that the highest capacity in the world is Ahmedabad, I think, and it's going to be sold out, and it's going to be so hard to find a ticket. My favorite currently is Miller. Good to know. Mine is Markram. He's my captain. काफी मारा मारी हो रही है एशेज में. हाँ भाई, इंजरीज भी हो रहे, मारा मारी हो रही. लेकिन मजा तो आ रहा है. It's been a really good series so far. अब देखते हैं क्या होता है आगे जाके. कल परसों इंटरेस्टिंग डेज होने वाले हैं. डे 3 को मूविंग डे बोलते हैं इंडिया में, बट यहाँ पे क्या होता कि still all to play for there. But I think पाकिस्तान के कितने फैंस होंगे अहमदाबाद स्टेडियम में? 500 तक तो होंगे ही भाई. मेरे को सच में नहीं पता. मैं समझा एक भी नहीं रहेगा. आई डोंट नो इफ दिस गोना बी पाकिस्तान. वीजास मिलेंगे नहीं मिलेंगे मेरे को नहीं मालूम. क्या सीन है? दैट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन. आई डोंट नो व्हाट द सिचुएशन इज. ये मालूम करना पड़ेगा भाई कि कैसा आएंगे. मेरे दोस्त ऑलरेडी पूछ रहे कैसा आना है इंडिया को, कौन सा रूट लेना है, लाइक वीजा कैसा अप्लाई करना है, कौन सा सिटी जा सकते हैं, कौन सा नहीं जा सकते, डू यू हैव टू अप्लाई फॉर डिफरेंट सिटी वीजास. ऑलरेडी सवाल पूछ रहे हैं मेरे को, तो मेरे को भी रिसर्च करके जवाब देना पड़ेगा. बिकॉज बेचारे मैन दे लव टू वॉच क्रिकेट ब्रो. दे वेरी पैशनेट. दे लव देयर टीम आल्सो एंड दे अप्रिशिएट इंडियन क्रिकेट आल्सो. दे लाइक विराट कोहली एंड स्टफ. बैंटर तो चलते रहता है. उन लोग मेरे को बहुत सताते हैं, मैं भी बहुत सताता हूँ. दैट इज फाइन. बट दे उन लोग मौका तो मिलना चाहिए भाई इंडिया पाकिस्तान देखने अहमदाबाद में. फर्स्ट इंडिया वर्सेस पाकिस्तान मैच मस्ट बी कंफर्म फॉर अहमदाबाद. पीसीबी स्टिल ट्राइंग टू मूव द वेन्यू. वेस्ट इंडीज वाली सीरीज कौन से चैनल पे आएगा? इंडिया में शायद उस पे आएगा भाई. या तो सोनी पे आएगा या वो कौन सा नया कुछ निकला था फैन जो क्या था वो फैन कुछ इब्राहिम. आई डोंट नो हु इज इन इंडिया राइट नाउ बट यू कैन हेल्प मी. फैन कोड या कुछ था स्ट्रीम. आई थिंक या जियो पे या कुछ आ सकता. आई गेस ओनली जर्नलिस्ट विल बी अलाउड. या इवन जर्नलिस्ट कमेंटेटर्स we haven't seen them in India for a long time. रमीज राजा को कमेंट्री करते हुए इंडिया में बहुत टाइम हो गया. नहीं तो उन्नीस करता था हर मैच में. जब पाकिस्तान भी नहीं खेल रहे तो रमीज राजा घुस जाता था. आईपीएल में भी रमीज राजा रहता था. फैन कोड उस पर शायद आ सकता है एंडी भाई. पिछले बार आई थिंक कौन सा सीरीज था, वेस्ट इंडीज का ही था या श्रीलंका का था, उस पर बताए थे, तो उस पर हो सकता. माँ पता चल जाएगा भाई एक आध हफ्ते में. 12th को शुरू हो रहा, 12-13 को टूर, तो आपको पता चल जाएगा. एड्स वैड्स आ गए होंगे ऑलरेडी. पता चल जाएगा आपको थोड़े दिन में. एग्जैक्टली मेरे को पता चल जाएगा, मैं आपको कंफर्म कर दूंगा. तो yeah, that's a very interesting question about the Pakistan fans. Even we'll have to do some research and see how that goes. जर्नलिस्ट आई तो अच्छा होगा. मोहम्मद साकिब आएगा क्या? कोशिश तो करेगा वो भाई. मैं उसको देखा था शारजा में, देखा था उसको. वो तो हर जगह पहुंच जाता. ही इज डन क्रेजी फॉर हिमसेल्फ विद दैट वन वीडियो. एंड दैट गाय इज अ रियली स्मार्ट गाय मैन. आई डोंट नो इफ यू गाइस नो, ही वाज द valedictorian in one of the top universities in England. Was it which university was it? I don't remember, man. But it was a top university. He was giving the valedictorian speech. He's a very smart guy, man. In general, kuch lawyer hai shayad ne. Do you think Ashwin will score another century against West Indies? Yes, I do think so. Boss, who's your favorite commentator you miss right now? Mine, Navjot Singh Sidhu. Bro, man, honestly, in the beginning, he used to irritate the crap out of me, but then I started to like him. He grew up on me, especially IPL में उन्हें ठोको ताली ये वो क्या क्या की करता था. I used to miss him. My favorite commentator that I miss is Tony Gregg. I was brought up on watching him Sharjah matches, Sachin's innings against Australia, or like so many other moments where he called like they're dancing in the aisles in Sharjah, or like whether it was a series in Australia, World Cups. I really do miss his commentary, man. I really enjoyed him. Someone I found underrated was the West Indies guy as well. I forgot his name, bro. It's not coming to Tony Crozier. I think Tony Crozier. He was also underrated. He was a really good commentator, but my favorite was Tony Gregg. I really enjoyed his commentary, man. जेन्युइन पेस का रिप्लेसमेंट क्या है क्रिकेट में? क्या सवाल क्या है? मतलब मेरे को समझ में नहीं. जेन्युइन पेस का रिप्लेसमेंट क्या है, या इंडिया के लिए कौन रिप्लेस कर सकता है पेसर? आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड आप क्या पूछ रहे हैं. ये टफ क्वेश्चन है मेरे लिए. तो जी जनाब, ये है सिचुएशन. हम लोग आपको वर्ल्ड कप का अपडेट्स भी करते रहेंगे. विल ट्राई टू गेट शॉर्ट्स फॉर यू ऑन सोशल मीडिया एज वेल, एंड वी विल discuss day 3 tomorrow. Hopefully Faiz will be joining me as well. आज उनकी ईद की छुट्टी है तो नो सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं. मेरे पास कल ईद थी, उनके पास आज है, तो वो सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं. इंडिया में डिनर के लिए गए. तो फैज भाई आपको भी ईद मुबारक, और कल मिलेंगे आपसे होपफुली. लंडन is going to be busy this weekend. WWE is in London for Money in the Bank. Woo! Insane, man. London will be buzzing. Yeah, there's no football going on, so they have these other sporting events. England love their sports, man. They absolutely love it. भागते हुए स्पिनर को क्यों होते इंडिया में? अच्छा हाँ बस. एंडी भाई लेजेंड ब्रो, यू आर लेजेंड में. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया जुड़ने के लिए. कल मिलेंगे हम लोग आपसे, आप लोगों से कल मैच के बाद होपफुली. कुछ भी है तो कल कमेंट सवाल पूछते रहिए और थैंक यू सो मच आप सबका सपोर्ट डेविन भाई फर्स्ट टाइम आई सी यू सो थैंक यू सो मच होप टू सी यू टुमारो नितेश भाई एज यूजुअल सईद भाई इब्राहिम भाई and Chirag bhai, of course, and Nitesh bhai, whoever else I'm missing out, thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, Andy bhai, I love the comedy as well. So take care, guys, and catch you tomorrow. Have a good rest of the evening.